I knew the marriage was cracked long before it finally broke, but nothing prepared me for the moment she laughed. It was a small laugh, almost casual, tossed into the room the way you'd toss breadcrumbs to birds. But it echoed in my skull long after her lips closed. "I can get divorced any time I want," she said, swirling her coffee like she was talking about the weather. And I glanced at the folder on the table. The one she didn't know I'd found. The one that held the final confirmation. The one with the printouts, the screenshots, the hotel receipts. My fingers trembled against the spine of it as her laughter settled like dust on the room. 1. The crack before the quake. People like to say affairs begin with a kiss or a touch, some physical exchange that crosses the line. But that's not true. They begin in silence, in distance, in the tiny gaps between words. And our gaps had become canyons. Maya and I had been married 7 years. Not perfect, not terrible. Just worn. Like a book whose pages had been turned too many times. Comforting, familiar, but frayed at the edges. She worked late. I stopped asking why. I cooked dinner. She stopped eating with me. She slept facing the wall. I told myself it was just exhaustion. I think part of me already knew. But knowing hurts less than confirming. It was a Wednesday when I saw the first undeniable clue. Her phone buzzed on the counter while she was showering. A message preview lit up the screen. "Last night was incredible. Same time tomorrow." My stomach dropped so violently it felt like I'd been punched. The contact name was saved as Melissa Work. But Melissa from work didn't text like that. I didn't open the message. I didn't touch her phone. But something inside me broke, quiet and deadly. And I started to watch, and look, and gather. Not because I wanted proof. 'Cause I needed it. To the folder. The man was named Armin. I found out through hotel reservation emails. Through a credit card charge she forgot to hide. Through pictures on her iCloud that were deleted but still cached on the laptop we shared. Pictures of them together. Her head against his chest. Her smile, the one she used to give me back when the world was young. She wasn't trapped. She wasn't lonely. She wasn't forced. She was choosing him. Each discovery felt like a nail hammered into the coffin of our life together. I compiled everything into a folder, not out of revenge but out of survival. I needed to know I wasn't imagining the slow death of my marriage. I told myself I'd confront her when the time was right. But the right time never came. Until that morning. 3. I can get divorced any time I want. She stood at the kitchen island wearing one of her crisp white blouses, the kind she saved for important meetings, though now I knew exactly whose eyes she wanted to impress. She sipped her coffee, scrolling her phone with that relaxed posture of someone who believes their world is under their complete control. "We need to talk," I said. She didn't look up. "We always need to talk, David. I'm running late." I tried again. "Maya, it's serious." She finally glanced at me, annoyed. "What now? Did you forget to pay a bill? Did the car act up again?" "No," I said, swallowing hard. "It's about us." She sighed. "Oh God." Again with the relationship panic. "I swear, I can get divorced any time I want if this keeps turning into a therapy session every morning." She laughed then, light, sharp, dismissive. And at that exact moment, her laugh collided with something inside me. Fuse. Final straw. Breaking point. My hand reached for the folder almost on its own. For the reveal. I placed it on the table between us. She frowned. "What's that?" "Your meetings," I said softly. "Your late nights. Your work trips. Your excuses." Her face stiffened, but she tried to keep the annoyance mask on. "David, I don't have time for your..." "Open it." She rolled her eyes dramatically, but when she flipped the cover, her expression changed. The first page was a picture of her and Armin at the hotel restaurant. Her hand on his arm. The second page. A receipt for a room booked under her name. The third page. The message screenshot from her old iCloud backup. Her fingers froze. Her pupils widened. Her breath hitched. Maya, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. How long? She closed the folder slowly, as if delaying the inevitable truth might stop the world from collapsing. It's not what it looks like, she said, the universal anthem of betrayal. It's exactly what it looks like. Her eyes darted, fear, anger, calculation. Not remorse. Never remorse. You went through my things. You left pieces everywhere, I replied. I just put them together. She pushed the folder away like it was burning her hands. David, you don't understand, Armin and I. It wasn't planned. How long? I repeated. She swallowed. 6 months. A month. My knees nearly buckled. I gripped the edge of the table to stay upright. 5. The shattering. We were drifting apart, she said, softer now. You never noticed me anymore. I noticed everything, I whispered. Every change. Every distance. Every lie. She shook her head, defensive. It wasn't all lies. You stopped being present. You stopped trying. And cheating was your solution. Her silence answered for her. Maya, I said, my voice cracking. I loved you. I still do. Why didn't you talk to me? Because talking doesn't fix everything, she snapped. Then quieter. He made me feel alive again. My heart cracked so loud I almost heard it. And what about us? I asked. Were we dead? She didn't respond. Her silence was the most honest thing she'd ever given me. 6. The choice. For a long moment we just stared at each other, the ruins of 7 years between us. Finally she wiped her eyes, though no tears had fallen. What now? I don't know, I said truthfully. But you said something earlier. What? You said you could get divorced any time you wanted. She inhaled sharply. David, I'm giving you what you wanted. Her face paled. You're leaving. I'm ending something that ended 6 months ago. She stepped toward me, desperate now. Can we talk about this? Can we fix it? You already talked, I said bitterly. With him. You fixed it with him. Tears formed now, real ones maybe, but it was too late. I grabbed my keys, my coat, and the folder. I didn't know where I was going, but anywhere felt safer than this kitchen. Maya, I said at the door. She looked up, broken. You didn't lose me because you fell in love with someone else. You lost me because you stopped fighting for us. She reached out a hand. I stepped back and walked out. 7. The aftermath. The air outside hit me like a slap. Cold, real, grounding. For the first time in months, I felt the weight of everything lift. Not completely, but enough to breathe. Enough to exist. Enough to start again. Behind me, inside that house, was the ghost of a marriage and the woman who chose someone else. But ahead of me was a new beginning. Painful. Lonely. But mine. And sometimes, choosing yourself is the bravest thing you can do.